Hey folks, Randy here doing cut and trim. So I'm a big believer that impulse decisions are bad decisions, almost universally. I can't think of a time where I impulse bought something and it ended up being a good thing. Well, that's not true. I can think of one time, because it just happened recently, and it was a foolish decision that turned out to be a brilliant move that's changed everything. Not really. So, I was servicing a property, and it was time to blow the sucker off, and when I went to start the blower, the pull cord broke. Not a big deal. You know, that happens. Not a big deal to replace it. Of course, I didn't have any replacement cord with me, so I just took the cord I already had, snipped off the broken part, reattached the handle, and went to the next yard. Got to the next yard, mowed it, trimmed it, went to blow it, pull cord snapped off again. So I was like, okay. So I had another piece of broken equipment in the truck with me. So I actually took the recoil off that. I knew the cord on that one was good. Took that cord and took the recoil off the blower so that I could use the new cord. And when I did that, the spring sprung. And that's a pain in the butt to deal with, and I didn't feel like doing that on a customer's property. So I knew there was a steel dealer nearby, so I called them up, said, hey, you know, do you guys have just a replacement coil? I mean a coil, a replacement recoil. I need to, you know, keep moving. And they said, sorry, we don't. All right. So I was like, you know what, screw it. I need a backup blower anyway. I'm just gonna go buy a handheld. So I drove over there and said, I need the cheapest handheld you got, which turns out they had the cheapest. That actually the only blower they had was I believe the cheapest one that Steel makes. It's a BG50. Cost $140 on sale. So I picked it up, filled it up with gas, and started going to town, you know, using it. I don't like using handheld blowers. I definitely don't. But I noticed something. I went 25 lawns before I had to put more gas in it. Which that made me start thinking. So I did some math, started looking at it, because I know about how often I was refilling the tank on my BR550. And I figured out that I was using about 128 ounces, or, you know, a gallon of fuel every, what is it? Is it every week? Yeah, a gallon of fuel every week. So you take the cost of gas, take the cost of the oil that you have to put in it, and I was spending about $20 a month on fuel. Take that out over the course of the season, and I was spending just under $150 a year in gas to power the BR550. Well, using math that I'm not going to explain here because it's a pain in the butt to do, especially if you don't have it written down, and I'll get myself confused. The BG50 uses 75% less fuel as compared to the BR550. Which means, while I'm spending just under $150 on gas for the BR550, the handheld, the BG50, spends right around $35, $36 a year in gas. So I'm saving $100 each year on fuel. Which means, in a year and a half, that blower has paid for itself. And then it's just giving me an extra $100 each year. So, and the handheld, I mean, it's, you know, it's more than powerful enough. I actually was kind of surprised by how strong it was. It's more than powerful enough to blow grass clippings back onto the lawn off of sidewalks and stuff like that. I mean, like, you know, don't get me wrong. Nobody's moving any leaves with this thing. I mean, it's definitely not for pushing leaves. But for lawn mowing, it's perfect, and it saves $100 a year. So honestly, I haven't even fixed the recoil on the backpack because the backpack blower is now my backup blower. I'm not using the backpack unless something happens to the BG50. So obviously I know, like, the backpack is definitely the way to go when you're doing leaves, and the backpack is definitely more comfortable to use. There is no question about that. Holding a blower in your hand while you're working it sucks every bit as much as I remembered it sucking. But man, you're saving $100 a year. I'm definitely down for that. So now I know some guys are gonna be like, oh man, it's only $100, it's not worth it, not worth my time. You know, fine. If that's you, that's fine. But my business, I spend every day looking for ways to get more efficient, looking for ways to save on money, to save time, save cost, to save, you know, to be as productive as possible for as cheap as possible. That's what I'm trying to do. And so this is just one of many tiny things that I do that help me realize that goal. So, you know, I know a lot of folks do not like handhelds. I'm with you. I don't like handhelds either. I just like saving money even more. And the idea of saving $100 a year on gas, fantastic. The only way I feel like I could do any better than that is if I went with battery operated. And I just gotta be honest with you, that's a big heck no. So there. You heard it here. I got nothing else. All right, bye.